Honestly, Sundays are one of my favorite days of the week because it's the day that I do all my weekly maintenance. Hopefully none repairs, but at least weekly maintenance to my RS Lite. Because this scooter is basically my car, and because I drive it about 80 miles a week, it's good to do a weekly maintenance check on this thing, because otherwise I could end up in a ditch. There's also a couple of things that I would like to do to it today that are not weekly projects, but just good things that I have been putting off. For those of you who have seen the suspension raise video, one thing I did not do was put this stuff on. This is Loctite 243. It's a thread locker, and it'd be really good to have on all the bolts that I took out of the shock mounts. There's also just a couple of spots that became scratched up. This became scratched up when I raised the handlebars for the first time. I had a wee bit of a crash last week, so this is from that, and I'm gonna touch both of those up with this stuff, which is some universal black car paint, and just kind of fill in those spots that got a little smushed by the crash and by the scraping, because eventually those will rust, and we do not want that to happen. I cannot remember for the life of me which way it goes, and also, there we go. Okay, and you can actually see here that blue is the Loctite from the factory. So we're gonna reapply it and put it back in there, and then this motherfucker's not going anywhere anytime soon. Didn't look like they put a whole lot on, so I'm just gonna do one on that side and then one on this side. And this stuff is the blue specifically. This shit is semi-permanent. It doesn't perma-lock it, but it locks it enough to be durable against a lot of like shaking and grinding and scooter riding in this case. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That seems very, very tight. Okay, just for good luck, we did one more. The next one we're gonna do is this guy. This one also has some blue stuff on it. We're gonna put a little bit back on, just a little strip back into the hole. It goes. Okay, just for extra good luck. 1, 2. Okay. The next thing I usually check weekly are these 4 bolts and then the stem latch. This whole area takes a lot of physical force when you're riding. It's the part that hits holes the first. There's a lot of pushing and pulling while I'm driving it. So in order to keep myself safe, which is the point of this, I always check these like once a week. We'll go in an X pattern when we do this to keep everything evenly tightened. So let's go down to here. That one actually had a little bit too. Okay, I'm glad we're doing this. This is why we're doing it. That one had barely anything. And then just for good luck, we go over them again. Because why the fuck not? It takes 2 seconds, and then I can ride in peace all week. Because you really don't have to do this more than once a week. Me doing it once a week is borderline over the top, but that's just who I fucking am, dude. As much fun and as useful as it is, it's not the safest. And I don't care what you say, this is not the safest vehicle to ride. So while we're up here, for anybody who has an RS and finds the stem latch bolt to be as annoying as most people do. All this is an M6 sized hex head socket bolt. You can see this came with the RS. It fits in there perfectly. It's the same size as the one that came with your scooter, and a M6 size washer, 25 millimeter size, screwed in. So much better than the stock one, because this one goes in farther. Big shout out to the Average Guide 1983, Louis. He makes amazing RS videos here on YouTube as well. He's the guy who suggested that I do this to mine, and I would highly recommend you do this incredibly cheap and fast mod to yours as well. Last thing that I do in terms of checking bolts and all that stuff is just quickly check the caliper bolts. This one and then this guy. Do not touch any other of the screws on these calipers, or you will leak hydraulic fluid all over the place. Okay. Also, just do a quick check while the scooter is off the ground and listen for any rubbing of the brake pads on the rotor. I don't hear anything, so we're still aligned pretty well. I cannot remember which side the pin and which side the bolt is on this one, but we're going to treat it the same way we treated the front. Three. Okay. The dreaded shock bolt. Three. Okay. There we go. Yay, all the annoying work is done. Now we get to paint. This is what we're using. Louis from the Average Guide 1983 also suggested this stuff. You can find it on Amazon. It's pretty common just for cars. Try this abrasive tip. Yeah, this is basically like sanding right now. It's actually very satisfying feeling it get smooth. Oh, if you can see right up here too, that's also where I hit. I hit here, I hit here in my fall. Literally shaved, almost like someone took a file to the tip of my brake. Oh, God. But it hurt, bro. It hurt like a bitch. All right, let's see how this goes. Oh shit, wait, a lot more coming out than I thought. Okay, ooh, okay. Let's do this guy. Oh, this is so satisfying. This is so satisfying, I like it. Like right here, there's a little bit. And then I forgot, man, right down here, that part hit hard during my crash. So we're gonna do that real quick. This poor kickstand got very, very scratched. That's okay. Now my scooter has character. First crash, and of all the types of crashes I could have had, for a first one, could have been a lot worse. And in a weird way, I'm kind of glad it happened, because it made me reevaluate how I ride my scooter, and I wasn't doing anything stupid, but it just kind of like reset me from feeling really, really comfortable on it to now kind of having to like rebuild that trust in like the scooter and in like myself. And it's been a really good experience, dude. It sucks. Like, obviously would prefer it to not happen, but now it's kind of like the worst has happened, even though the worst it could have been a lot worse. But you know what I mean. It's almost just like kind of got it, something that's always on your mind out of the way, and can always happen again But a couple other things that I check weekly are the 4 bolts that hold the handlebar in place on the scooter, because this also is an area that gets quite a bit of just force applied to it, and the handlebars really need to be in place. And then the last thing I do is check my tire pressure, which you really should do like every day. I do mine every other day, and I ride at 45 psi. This is kind of the non-stop debate between scooter riders, what psi to ride at. And honestly, it depends on weather conditions. It depends on your riding style, your weight, depends on all sorts of things. So I choose to ride at 45. They usually go down to about 38 after like 20 miles. So about every 20 miles or 2 days commuting back and forth to work, I'll pump them up again. Like this one's at 42. I just filled it up to 45 yesterday morning, so. And while we're back here, we'll also just check the back wheel for any grinding of the brake pads against the rotor. I did not hear anything, so we're good there as well. And back here, we're at 38. I carry a lot of weight with my backpack and leaning back when I brake, all that stuff. So this is something that always comes with me, by the way. I never leave the house without a tire pump because it can come in handy at any time. All right, and the last thing we're gonna do is just go over all of these paint spots with this clear coat. And this color, this black color, is honestly close enough for my tastes to the RS's original black that it's totally acceptable. And that's it, guys. I really just wanted to go over the basics of what I do weekly, and a little bit, just because I was going to do it this one time, some more like in-depth maintenance with the Loctite and the paint. It's just good to keep your vehicle nice and clean and free of rust if you can, because the thing's not cheap. I hope that some of you might have found this video helpful, gotten some ideas for those out there who do the same thing, or if you have other things that you check on, please comment below, because I am all about upping my weekly maintenance procedure, whatever you want to call it. Give me more shit to work on this thing, because the safer it is, the happier I am. And there is one cool thing I do want to show all of y'all real quick, and that is the fact that, just turn her on real quick, I hit 500 miles about a week and a half ago, and I'll be doing a video on it. Probably my next video will be a 500-mile review. That video will be a lot of fun to make. There'll actually be some riding in that video as well. And we'll just go over my thoughts after, you know, putting a decent amount of miles on this baby. And it'll be a good one. So I'll see you all in the next one.